Bookers. Kicks it to the corner. Hopkins.
We have a lot of motivation to win, obviously, for UConn.
March Madness is officially here. We couldn't be more excited. Welcome to Bracketology, women's selection presented by Allstate. I'm your host, Marino. So happy to be alongside Ari Chambers, Autumn Johnson, and Charlie Creme. Okay, we have a lot to get into. We're with you for the next hour, and we've had about a day or so to digest the bracket. We will be joined by some special guests, so make sure you stay with us throughout the whole show. And we're going to break down each region of the bracket. But first, initial reactions before we give our final four predictions. Yeah, we're going to get right into that. We're not saving that for later.
She said we're jumping in right now.
No tease.
Not at all. We're not going to make you wait.
Okay,
Charlie, I know not much surprises you, but what was your reaction to what we saw on Selection Sunday?
Yeah, it wasn't that surprising of a bracket. I think we all kind of understood who the number one seeds were going to be, and those are the teams that were the number one seeds. I think getting a little nerdy in the bracketology world, the new metric wins above bubble was utilized by the committee, but not overutilized. It fell right into the other 11 pieces of criteria that they used. I was interested going in where Tennessee would fall, and seeing them as a 10 seed was a little bit lower than I thought the committee would place them, but certainly in the bracket and safely in the bracket. That was a big story. We talked about the number one seeds, the number one overall.
Yeah.
Not a big surprise there either. The committee stayed consistent and went with UConn. But UConn, UCLA, well, I mean, loose leaf paper kind of dividing those two teams.
I actually want to follow up with Autumn about that because I know you've been in contact with some peeps from the committee about that.
Yeah, the chair, Amanda Braun, she spoke to me, and I wanted to know about the observable component. She talked about that during Selection Sunday. What about it? The non-con, are we forgetting about that? UConn went out and challenged themselves, and that's exactly what Amanda Braun told me. 4 Big Ten teams, 2 in the ACC, 1 SEC and Big 12 foe as well, and nearly 28 points per game, defeating them decisively. So UConn doing a great job, yes, dismantling Big East foes, but also challenging themselves outside of their conference.
I mean, I'm looking at the top 50 right here. UConn has done nothing wrong to get out of that 1 seed. I think that's something that we have to focus on. But away from the 1 seeds, what about the 8-9 seeds? I mean, every year it's the 8-9, the fiercest competition. But this year, Iowa State versus Syracuse, Clemson, Southern Cal, Oklahoma State, Princeton, Oregon, Virginia Tech. This can literally go either way. But I know y'all have heard me on my soapbox all season about the mid-major love. And I'm looking at the glaring omission that is Rice women's basketball and programs like that. Charlie, you know I bring the drama, and I just. At this point, I want the rule changed that dominating regular season takes precedent over this random conference title championship.
I would have it no other way than letting you bring the drama.
Thank you, Charlie Creme.
You make an interesting point. I'm sure we can delve into that a little bit more, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad we got there. But it is time now for our slam dunk predictions presented by Wendy's. I told you we would not make you wait for the final 4 predictions. Okay, so here's what happened. All 4 of us were going to make our final 4 prediction. They were all quite similar. In fact, they were exact. And let's just reveal who we have in the final 4.
That's exactly what it's giving.
It is. It's giving chalk, very much chalk. But I feel like we all have valid reasoning for going there. So Autumn, why don't we start with you? Why are you going chalk?
Well, typically I would say, throw a 2 seed in there. How boring is it just to have 1 seeds? In fact, it's only been done 4 times. But hey, these have been the 1 seeds who have been decisive all season long. They have separated themselves when you look at UConn's 9 quad 1 wins. You got UCLA with 19 quad 1 wins, Texas with 14, and South Carolina with 12. No other 2 seed can say just that. And UCLA and Texas, I know they're sitting in tougher regions, but that's just how things fell out when you have 2 SEC teams on the 1 line and also 2 SEC teams on the 2 line. So balancing played a factor. I want to know if those 2 seeds can prove us wrong, though. But for me, I'm going chalk.
I mean, it's hard to go away from those 1 seeds.
Yeah, they were the Final Four last year. Yeah. And I think you can make an argument that all 4 teams got a little bit better. It sort of sounds absurd that UConn got better after Paige Bueckers left. But
Gino agrees with you, by the way. He is not comfortable with saying that.
It's weird. I say it out loud. I want a straitjacket put on me. But it's true. I mean, from a numerical standpoint, they lost some games last year. They didn't lose any games this year. Texas, SEC tournament champions. South Carolina, same amount of losses that they had a year ago. UCLA certainly better than they were a year ago with those 19 quad 1 wins. So it's hard to pick against 4 teams that did it already when you could argue they all got better.
Yeah, we talk about quad 1, all the quads of the world, but when you look at these 1 seeds, it's the battle test of it all. March is made for who can rise to the moment. Yeah. All of these teams have proven themselves in regular season. There has been a never-ending debate of strength of schedule versus just cruising through. And though you can look at UConn's conference and argue they have, kind of a weaker conference, even though the Big East is nothing to be slept on,
right.
They still have challenged themselves. But I'm looking at the UCLA of it all. And yes. I do think that if there were to be an upset of a number 1 seed not making it, just because of the strength of this region, it could be a UCLA-Duke battle for everything. Yeah. But the containing of UCLA when it comes to Duke, I'm questioning. But I have a hot take here. I'm going to present it. If UCLA gets to the Final Four, they're going to win it all because of how tough their road is and the confidence, the momentum that they'll bring into it. It won't be beat down. It would be like we can beat anybody.
I'm not mad at that because last year's Final Four, I mean, they lack experience when you look at UCLA experiencing this for the first time. Lauren Betts had 26 points in that championship game. No other player scored more than 8 points. This team is different. You got 2 scoring point guards. You got different depth in Kiki Rice playing her best basketball at this point in the season. Yeah. Gianna Neekins. There's so many different pieces you can put in the rotations. Endless depth across the board.
Well, I think the revenge factor is big with UCLA. Is there anyone else we want to shout out besides UConn? I know we're high on UConn. Anyone else we want to shout out that we think could actually win it all?
Well, we were talking about teams maybe who could upset or 2 seeds that could make a shake-up to these predictions. I'm going to go in Texas's region, and that Louisville-Michigan potential matchup in the Sweet 16, the winner coming out of that, I think, would have a chance against Texas. I always still worry about the Longhorns' inability to shoot from distance. Yeah. And that's cost them in some big games before. So I'm keeping a close eye on that as a possible breakup of these number 1 seeds all making the Final Four.
Really quickly, though, South Carolina, I think the best thing that could have happened to them is that Texas lost in the conference championship, because when you have blemishes going into a high-pressure situation, you know what to fix going ahead of time. Don Staley has proven us wrong by going undefeated and winning a national championship, but how much more motivation are you going to go into the tournament with if you have something to prove?
And she said that's exactly what happened in 2022 when they lost their conference tournament, ended up winning it all. All right, we are going to dive deeper into each region, and we're going to start with Sacramento too. Why? Because we got a superstar guest joining us from this region in just a moment, so stay locked on that. But here is the breakdown. You got the 1 seed, of course, UCLA. You got a great matchup as well, 8 seed Oklahoma State and Princeton. You got Ole Miss in there. You got Minnesota in there. And then also, as we look to the other part of the region, there's Baylor in the 6 seed, the 3 seed Duke. Interesting. Some thought maybe they should be a 2. And then Baton Rouge. Yeah. We'll get into it. You got LSU in there as well. So, I mean, clearly a stacked region, but a matchup that we're all sort of salivating over is potentially we could see a Duke LSU rematch from the regular season here in the tournament, Charlie.
We could, and I would welcome that game. And I think Duke would welcome that game, because Duke wasn't Duke when they played earlier in the season. That was Duke's 6th loss in 9 games to start the season. And going into that game, I don't think any of us thought, the way Duke had been playing, that they had a chance in the game. And they were soundly beaten by LSU then. But this is a very different Duke team now. They've found the right chemistry. They ran off 17 straight wins after that loss. They won the ACC both in the regular season and the tournament. I think they would love another shot at the Tigers.
We look at this entire region, and I look at it as a chip region, right? But when it comes to these two teams, LSU come on!
Chip on the shoulder.
No, but when I look at this Duke team, they are a very different team. But sometimes you need the catalyst, just like I was saying with South Carolina and Texas before. But this triggered a 17-game win streak in Duke. And then not only did it trigger a win streak, they found their offense and started proving people wrong because we know Duke's identity is defense. But when you have a highly offensive team like LSU, it's going to be cinema.
Yeah.
Okay, I told you that we would have a special guest joining us, and I hear that she is with us and ready to go. So let us say hello to LSU star Flau'jae Johnson. Flau'jae, thank you so much.
Big Four!
For joining us. Oh, so good to see you. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Look, we all know you've won a national title before. What's it going to take from your team and more specifically from you to get back to that pinnacle?
I think everybody just playing their best basketball, and I think that has nothing to do with like the offensive side of the floor. I think it's about making plays, making winning plays, and just being disruptive. So I think that's what it's about, and I feel like our team is like in a really good spot right now.
Fla, it's funny because I know you as a ball of energy, but when it comes to competition, you tell me you're in Allstate. So those fans out there that don't know what Allstate is, can you define it and how you're going to bring it to March Madness?
Man, yeah, Allstate is just getting that flow, getting that state, getting that mode, and I think that's just the intangibles. I feel like I have a lot of good intangibles. I feel like I read the game well, great instinct. So just doing those things to help my team. I got to be a better rebounder. I got to be a better defender. So that's what I'm working on, and that's what I'm so excited about. This team, like, it's full of people who have so many intangibles. Like, look at Lay. Look at her go. So I'm super excited. That's a team full of ballers. Look at 12. Look at 12. I mean, I'm excited. And I'm just ready to play our best basketball right now.
You know, Flau'jae, it's been a beautiful journey to witness you go on from a national champion as a freshman to now a leader as a senior. I want to know from you personally, what are you most proud of when you think of the growth you've experienced, not just as a player, but as a person throughout the course of your career?
Yeah, no, just learning other people and kind of learning what it is to be a leader. Like, people think leader is like, you know, you got this, or you know what I'm saying? But it's really being there for people on a personal level. Because if you can connect with people like off the court and try to understand them, like on the court, it's going to be better. On the court, you can hold them accountable. You know, and on the court, they'll really respect you. So for me, it's always been just lead by example, working super hard. But it's been a challenge, like understanding what that looks like on and off the floor. But it's definitely been the most rewarding thing that I've done for sure.
Flau'jae, how do you balance the laser focus that you need to win another championship with kind of the emotion of the fact that, you know, this is your last run at it?
It's beautiful because it gives you that pressure. And I think pressure can either make you crumble or make you rise. And I feel like, for me, I always play really well in March because I feel like we don't have another game. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other game. And now, for me, it's like, there's no other college game. Like, so I'm really, like, every possession, like, give it everything you got. Like, I've been conditioning crazy, just trying to make sure that I'm in the best shape. And it's emotional, but that's how we play. That's how Coach Moki coach, and that's how it's been all 4 years. And so I don't know. I'm very excited about bringing that emotion, and everybody's going to follow that for sure.
When you look back at your most recent experience in the SEC tournament, what lessons do you take away from that?
A lot of different lessons. I think just like we're so dynamic and explosive. I feel like we had to learn in high pressure situations what to do, how to control the tempo, how to manage clock, how to do those things. So I think those little things are things that we really looked at back in the film room, and we watched, and we know with our team, like, it can be anybody's game. So we had to just learn how to play with that, play around different schemes. And I think we've just came together as a team, and we've really learned each other. You know what I'm saying? And we really held each other accountable. So I'm excited to see how this goes in the postseason. And I think this is when we play our best basketball. I know this is when I play my best basketball. And I just feel like the team has a different energy, like coming into practice and how we've been moving. Like, it's a really different, pure energy. So I'm excited.
You add another national champion to this squad in Flau'jae, and you talk about how this team is playing together. What does that unlock for this team with this new piece that you've seen this season?
Speed and really being unpredictable. I think when she comes in a game, she can change the course of a game in an instant. And I think now she's really understanding and learning and developing a sense of just like time and space and passing and making everybody better. And I feel like when Lay's on the court, she just makes us faster. She makes us move a little quicker. She makes us think a little quicker. She makes us communicate more. So it's been great having her here. She's definitely a piece that you can't sleep on. And it's so dope to have that coming off the bench. Like Ella Hines, you got a post president. So I'm excited. I got my team all the way for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned knowing your team well. So when you step out on that court, Fly, I ask a lot of athletes this, but how do you know when it's going to be a good day for your team from moment one?
I would say when our shots don't go in, and we face that adversity early and we still locked in on the defensive end and we don't panic. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the tail of it. When you start off hot, like that's cool, but like you gotta think like the games that we played with Duke. Y'all speaking of Duke, we started trailing 14. We were down 14, I think, and we rallied back and we had each other's back and we didn't get rattled. Like those are the games where it's like, okay, we gonna be all right. Like we have composure.
Not you liking to get it out the mud. I mean, you don't want nothing easy. I know that's right.
I don't like it at all. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather start, but those are the games where I feel like we're locked in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fair enough. When something doesn't go your way, how do you respond? Flau'jae, it has been so wonderful talking to you. We wish you the best of luck. Go get it.
The biggest four. I know that's
biggest.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, that was Flau'jae Johnson. I mean, she was incredible. Can I just add one more thought about this potential Duke-LSU rematch? So LSU, we know how potent their offense is, top scoring team in the nation.
Yeah.
I guess, can Duke keep up if they hit one of those dry spells? That's kind of what I'm wondering. So just throw that out there.
Yes. Taina Mayer, Ashlyn Jackson. They all just step up when you see it in tournament time. Taina Mayer this year, Ashlyn Jackson last year. They're matured. They have come together. Toby Fournier is one of the National Player of the Year finalists. Literally, they have all the capabilities. I am guilty of this, looking at Duke and saying, oh, are they an offensive liability? But no, Kara Lawson has gathered her team to make sure that not only do they have perimeter shooting like you see right here, but they can go in and feed Toby. Toby is a 3-level scorer. Taina is very quick. They have all that they need. I'm fully
You're selling
confident.
me.
I mean,
You
I'm
are selling me.
nothing else. I'm selling you on a nine, okay?
All right. Let's get some thoughts on the rest of the region. Charlie?
Oh, I was just going to say, but I do think it does depend on that Duke defense. That is their bread and butter, and they are going to have to minimize LSU's explosiveness in order to win that game, I think. So Duke can score. Duke's a much better scoring team than they were, but I do think it kind of comes down to how they ultimately slow LSU down to whether. And we may be jumping too far ahead here because this is 2 rounds away.
Yeah, they still have to face Baylor and Villanova.
I know, and I'm jumping even more forward.
Okay,
I know they want to play UCLA again.
Yeah,
right.
This was something that we saw early November in the Players Era tournament. That's when Duke went 3-6. Completely different squad that we're seeing playing their best basketball at the right time of the season.
And I was at that game, and that was definitely not one of Duke's finest moments.
Yeah.
That was not a game from the
it was early.
jump.
It was early.
It was early, and like we've already said, it was a very different Duke team. I would love to see that game again too, because it didn't feel like Duke basketball that night.
We look at LSU and we say, oh, they're made for the moment. But Duke has composure in the moment. LSU is electric. I think it's going to be a composure versus electricity type of thing. And Flau'jae was just telling us, how do you stay even keel? How do you make sure that you don't lose yourself in the energy that you bring? And then she said, we like to get it out the mud, not necessarily love it, but, that's where I'm at with them.
Okay, let's go a little rapid fire here.
Okay.
Other potential matchups that we're excited for, Autumn.
Ooh, this is the toughest region that we're looking at. I'm actually looking to see what Minnesota can do in this
I like
bracket.
that.
This is the first time that Minnesota is going to host and play in the tournament since 2018. Minnesota is a group that does a great job of balance, but also UCLA. I'm looking at the different styles of play that they're going to have to experience both SEC teams, when you look at Ole Miss, LSU, for the third, possibly straight time in a row, potential championship matchup if they take on UConn. So UCLA does have a tough task ahead, but man, you can look across the board from the first round to the second round. Princeton could cause problems. I mean, it's going to be a gauntlet, but I think because there's different play styles, you think of Duke's defense, LSU's fast-paced offense, the way they rebound and run. UCLA has like 6 pros on the floor at one time, that veteran leadership. There can be different combinations that we see because this is the most unpredictable region that we have in this bracket.
I agree, and so let's go back to the unpredictability. I'm looking at Ole Miss Gonzaga, and when you see Gonzaga and what they've been able to do, I look at the battle of the fours. You have Lauren Whitaker versus Cody McMahon. They're both strong centers or forwards, both rebounding killers. They both score. I'm just looking to see how they face off because yes, we're jumping ahead to the semis and things, but we have to get past round 1 if you're playing into this. These are two, like, especially because Gonzaga is not really in the spotlight as much as Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is battle tested with the SEC, but Gonzaga's really been holding their own all season long.
And Gonzaga is also the most accurate three-point shooting team in the country.
There's that.
If they're able to get those open shots, Allie Turner is a great shooter, then that's going to create some offensive problems for Ole Miss to try to keep up. And that will open up the space for Lauren Whitaker to work. Because one of the things I worry about her being able to operate in the paint because of the physicality of Ole Miss. But if they can make some shots, spread the floor, that might change things a little bit.
Okay, real quick, you mentioned Princeton. I just want to say that 9-8 matchup against Oklahoma State has caught my eye. Princeton has done it before, 2022, 2023. Go look it up. I'll leave it there because right now we have a special guest. We are so excited to welcome UCLA head coach Cori Close to the show. Coach, congrats on a fantastic season. Look, there was a lot of talk about whether you would receive the top overall seed in this tournament. How do you approach your expectations in the lead up to the reveal? And now that you know where you're headed, what's your reaction?
Yeah, it really is not as big of a deal as to me as it is made in sort of the media circles. I'm really just thankful to have the chance to play. I just think it's much more important of how we're playing. If you have a quest and a dream to win a national championship, you're going to have to beat really good teams along the way. And I didn't think the number 1 or number 2 seed really mattered overall, mattered that much. Honestly, the rule that I would much rather revisit is the rule about when you can and cannot face conference opponents. I think it's antiquated and it doesn't account for having the conference realignment. That's actually one that I know won't affect us this year, but that's actually a bigger one that I'd like to see addressed that I think has a bigger impact than whether or not we're the number 1 or number 2 overall seed.
Well, Coach, you mentioned gratitude. Let's talk about the joy of it all. You were on record saying that you wanted your team to rediscover joy. So going into March Madness, how do you apply that joy going into some tough competition?
I think it starts with surrendering the outcomes. I think, a lot of things have to go right, and it's really focusing on the journey and being present focused. And then I really believe, the outcomes will come to you when you do a really great job just, caring about the details, being incredibly prepared, and having a freedom about you. Like when you really have a great process, there's just a level of confidence that comes with that and peace. And I really don't want our players, I think they'll play their best basketball when they're loose, when they're having fun together, and when they really can trust in their work.
Coach, last year UCLA made a Final Four run with Lauren Betts as the focal point, but this year UCLA can attack you in a multitude of ways. How has that balance changed the way you can attack teams in March?
Well, I think it's changed so much. I think that, I remember having a meeting with Lauren Betts at the end of last year and us talking about what it's going to take for us to respond and become better the next season. And we were talking about how, we really need more people around her that see themselves as great playmakers. And when the pressure is the highest, they're confident that they can step up and make plays too. And, I think she really wanted that. But it's one thing to say that in the spring and summer. And then at the beginning of the year, maybe your numbers are a little different. I really challenged her to play less minutes to be more efficient and to be more versatile, empowering the people around her. And, at the beginning of the year, I think our first ranked opponent, I think, was Oklahoma, and Gianna Neepkins led us in scoring. And, and I think that's when I really realized Lauren was in for the whole team atmosphere, because she was like, hey, this is not easy, but I know this is best for our team. And she's really stayed the course in that. But our depth, I think, is just really the piece that is it's not just the pieces that we've added in Charlize Ledger-Walker, our freshman, and obviously Gianna Neepkins, but it's how everybody else has also gotten better. And I just think we're a more complete team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cori, obviously the mission is to get back to the Final Four, but it's been a long season. So with that mission in mind, how have you managed as a coach to keep that at the forefront, but also do the day-to-day to make sure that you're just kind of concentrating with your players on the next game?
Yeah, I think, that's sort of my job to think a bit globally, and with my staff to really design a strategic plan that prepares us for that mission. But it is never something that we're talking about with our team. Every day, it's like, how are we going to get better today? What does it look like for us to invest in each other today? But I really don't think that's ever the player's job. It's really my job to keep that standard in mind. I know we do all the study of where did we fall short? What are the areas that need to be more prepared? And then the just sort of the progressions along the way. It is my job to go, hey, in order for us to be playing at a championship level, these are the areas that we need to address. These are the matchups that could be coming up and how we need to prepare. But I don't want our players thinking about that at all. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's sort of the balance, is that I take the global strategic perspective, and then I just teach through the present moment with them.
Okay, Coach, we mentioned Lauren Bitts. We mentioned Deanna. But let's talk about Kiki Rice. It's heavy leader in this, one of the most successful teams you've ever seen. Can you speak to the leadership that Kiki brings?
I could spend all day speaking about that. I think that so much of what we have built this year can be traced back to the work ethic, leadership, and example of Kiki Rice. And we have a tradition on our team where we put people on the hot seat, and the hot seat is not the traditional one. It's the one where we tell that person all of the ways in which they have invested in this program and what we appreciate about them. And Gabriela Jaquez said, you were always the first to the gym. You were always the last to leave. And I could see how much it was helping you grow. And I could see the connection you were building with the staff, because you had this collaborative relationship. And she's like, I wanted to be a part of that. So in the summer, I was like, I'm just going to do what Kiki does. And then London Jones started coming, and then other people. And now every single person on our team reflects the trail that really Kiki Rice blazed. And so I just think, she's having her most efficient year. She's having her, she's almost a 50-40-90 player herself. I think she's playing her best defense of her career. But her leadership and work ethic has set the standard for this program for all 4 of her years.
Well, Coach, you have a handful of players in their final year. We know they'll be going off on a high note. Thank you again so much for the time, and best of luck on this tournament run.
I thank you, first of all. And can I just say one more thing? A lot of things have gone on to our bracket and our seed and everything. And I just want to publicly say some things that I got captured during our selection show has sort of gone a little bit crazy. I just want to say I have so much respect for the teams in our bracket. And I am excited for how they're going to challenge us. Starting with Cal Baptist, and that's really the only one I'm talking about. But all the way through on our path, I just want to say how much respect I have for the other coaches, for the other teams, and for the opportunities that hopefully we can earn one more. We'll see what we can do against Cal Baptist, but just want to say how much respect I have for the other people in the field, and I feel honored to have the chance to compete with them.
Coach said respect the hard road.
Yes. Right. Well, we appreciate you sharing that. Thank you again.
Thank you. Take care.
You're watching Bracketology Women's Selection presented by Allstate. And remember, if you want to join in on the fun, head over to ESPN.com, fill out your bracket today. We have so much show left, you guys. We got to get to it, okay? Because we got three more regions to break down. We got Mayhem Moments from Selection Sunday as well. But as I said before, we wanted to start with that Sacramento too, because all of our guests, we had so many great guests, but we got more to come. And we have to backtrack and talk about Fort Worth 1. Let's move to that region now. And this is how it's shaping up. This is where the number 1 seed, the top overall seed, is UConn. We have a juicy little matchup there, 8 Iowa State against 9 Syracuse. We also have Maryland and North Carolina in this part of the bracket. And then when you move to sort of the second half of that region, that's where we see Notre Dame, we see Ohio State, Illinois, Vanderbilt, and so much more. All right, I'm just going to start off here because I know, Charlie, that you expected Vanderbilt to be in the same bracket as UConn. But when I saw it, I was like, ooh, like it just dawned on me. We could really get all the magical storylines of like Michaela Blakes versus Sarah Strong in the Player of the Year type of race. And then how about the coaching matchup, Gino Auriemma with, the student turned like protege to, his star player now coaching. And so I gotta say, I'm just very excited for that, potentially.
And you should be. Absolutely.
Thank you for validating.
Let me start, though, by saying that the committee does not do this stuff by design.
I appreciate you
Autumn
clarifying.
and I do this all season long. It's too hard to make these matchups work artificially. It comes together organically. Yeah. This one just happened to work out potentially very nicely.
Look, I don't want to overlook what could happen between now and then. I'm just saying the potential. I'm just excited about the potential.
But I think that UConn has enough. I'm looking at the Shea Ralph and Gino Auriemma of it, and I understand the argument that she can get under his skin. She knows his style of play. But UConn is too composed, too disciplined, and too structured of a program to allow anybody to invade the way they play basketball, the way they approach the game.
And look, we're going to see UConn Vanderbilt be a series after this tournament as well. So this is an anticipated matchup that we might get. We're looking ahead, but you can't just say enough of the storylines. That's what March is about. And before we even get to that, I'm calling this the bucket getter region. Because look, you got AZ Fudd, since we're talking about UConn, one of the most reliable shooters in the game. You have a Jada Williams for Iowa State. She's so aggressive when she gets downhill. Alucia Kanawa for Maryland. She's a two-way engine for this squad. You got Jelani Cambridge. I'm really excited about this one, possibly going up against Hannah Hidalgo, 2 scoring point guards. You talk about Hannah Hidalgo, like she's built for March.
We know.
She's in her DNA,
She's
in her
basketball.
blood, literally. So I love it. And Michaela Blakes, you can't forget the nation's leading scorer, a natural 30-point ball getter on any given night. And they're top 4 scorers in the nation. I want to shout out Mia Nicastro for Western Illinois, Sarah Strong as well. Top 4 scorers in the nation in this one region alone is very exciting to see.
I just want to piggyback on the Michaela Blakes for a second, because I also feel like after what happened in the SEC tournament, there is something extra there. Like that team's got something to prove. But Charlie, what other, matchups and things are you excited about for this region?
Well, I want to a little bit piggyback on Autumn and the Hannah Hidalgo. She's the best defensive guard in the country.
Absolutely.
Right.
And she is going to put that to test. And I can back up even further. Against Fairfield in the first round, Katie Larimore is the MAAC Player of the Year.
Yes.
So Hidalgo goes up against her. Then potentially Cambridge, like Autumn mentioned. Then potentially against Blakes. And then if they get that far, AZ Fudd, like that is putting defensive prowess to work.
So I agree with you. When I saw Fairfield and Katie Lamoureux, I got excited. I know you did too, Ari.
They are battle tested. This is a team who knows this tournament very well, being a mid-major, but always somehow we see them in postseason.
Yes.
They are 15th in the non-conference net. So they know how to face these opponents. They've gotten their rhythm. And then I'm looking at Notre Dame, like, how can you have a full comprehensive effort? We know Hannah Hidalgo, best two-way player in the game, arguably, but she really brings it. But I think that Notre Dame lives and dies by Hannah Hidalgo and how she's going to step up that day. Obviously, Cass Prosper having a career season, but Fairfield is not going to be somebody you can bulldoze over.
No.
They know. I'm telling you, they're 15 in the top 50 in non-conference net.
And they beat Richmond.
Yeah.
And they beat Villanova in that non-conference. So they've beaten 2 tournament teams already this season.
And I'm going to jump to the other part of the 8-9 that I was talking about at the top of the show. When you have this Syracuse team up against this Iowa State team, obviously Syracuse has been on a tear in the ACC, and Iowa State has really, they got out to a really great start to the season. I'm looking at the health of teams. When you go into March, health is a major concern. We just found out that Dominique Darius is officially ruled out because she has to get surgery on her fingers. But when I saw her go down at ACCs, Sophie Burrows, Layla Filia, Uche Ezoje were all able to step up, and the theme of their entire season has been sisterhood. They watched Remember the Titans before they went into that ACC tournament, and that matters. Culture like that matters. Dominique Darius, being without her is a huge hit. However, I do think that they have certain pieces that can come together. The leadership of a Layla Filia can really step up in this matchup, and so they can contain Jada Williams and Audie Crooks. Yeah.
Coach Jack knows culture.
She knows culture.
Oh, yeah.
With her nice little red lip. I know that's right. She claims it's orange, but that thing is red.
So many just exciting storylines up and down. Not just the UConns of the world and them being a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament for only the 23rd time. They won 10 of the last 22 times as a 1 seed, winning the title. By the way, #1 overall seed for the first time since 2018, 15th time in program history. There's a lot of verbiage there because it's UConn. So there's a lot of
the resume is long, honey.
It's a long resume, but let's move it on. Time now for our Mayhem Moments presented by Allstate. And I want to know, has there been any eyebrow-raising moments for you all following the bracket reveal, Charlie?
Well, I will say one thing real quick about mayhem and this part of the bracket.
Okay.
Ohio State and their pressure causes a lot of mayhem.
Mayhem?
I wanted to throw that in there. The biggest mayhem that I think came out of this region is the fact that we have Iowa State and Syracuse playing each other in that 8-9 game. Ari has already documented how great these 8-9 games are. And that's 2 teams that Iowa State had a lot of expectations at the beginning of the year and didn't quite meet them. Syracuse didn't have any expectations at the beginning of the year.
Honey.
Picked to finish 13th in the ACC and far exceeded them. And then they have this collision course in an 8-9 game. So I think that could be a little bit of mayhem as well.
And by the way, mayhem, it could be outside of that particular bracket, so, at that part of the region.
Yeah, I'm looking at the mayhem going towards UCLA. I truly think they have the toughest region. When you look at their path and potentially going up against different styles, different dark horses, Princeton and Ole Miss or Minnesota. I have Ole Miss advancing forward to the Sweet 16. Or possibly LSU and Duke outside of that. So you think about play style, you think of matchups. Even when you think of UCLA and Ole Miss, I think of matchups. Latasha Lattimore is going to have a key assignment going up against Lauren Bett, 6'4", 6'7". I think that could be a really fun matchup inside, and that's what it comes down to. So it's not going to be easy for UCLA to get to this Final Four, but if they do, I could see them shaking things up.
Look, Autumn, I guess that overall 1 seed talk really did matter because it seems like UCLA kind of got the short end of the stick with that. However, my knee-jerk reaction was Duke being the number 3 seed. I don't like that, especially because they won 17 straight, though they had those 2 losses at the very end. But they're the ACC champion, great P4. However, the mayhem will be in this office between Andrea Carter and myself. NC State, Tennessee, round 1. Andrea, I heard you last night.
She was waiting.
It's State versus Tennessee. Go Pack on this end.
It's so crazy to think about them matching up so soon.
I want to know if there's any kind of side bet going on here. Dinner?
We need to
is
get
dinner
it rolling.
on the line
Andrea,
here?
this is my challenge to you. What you got for me?
Different apparel.
What you got for me, Andrea?
We'll have to see
Orange
how
or red?
this
What
all
are you
plays
wearing?
out. I'm sure we'll be watching on social media. Once again, you are watching Bracketology Women's Selection. Please join in on the fun. Head over to ESPN.com, fill out your bracket. You want to be in on the ESPN Tournament Challenge because that is the best. Also, we have 2 more regions to break down. lots of takes to throw out as well. And that brings us to Fort Worth Regional 3. All right, let's take a look at what we got. And this is where Texas is the 1 seed. You also have in that 8-9 matchup, Oregon, Virginia Tech, and over in West Virginia, that is where Kentucky is as well. And then as we move along to the second half, Louisville, as well as the aforementioned NC State and Tennessee over there in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
The Carter versus Chambers matchup.
Yeah,
Battle of the ACs.
Exactly. So, you know, when I saw this, I was just thinking, it just kind of registered with me, Charlie. Like, yes, we saw, you had told us when Texas won the SEC tournament, not only was it going to make them a 1 seed, solidify that, but jump them into that 3 seed overall. And that is a game changer for them as far as both them staying close to home, but then sending South Carolina to Sacramento.
Yeah, being able to play in Fort Worth, not having to get on a plane is certainly an advantage, and kind of doing that to your rival. South Carolina has won the national championship playing out of a Western region before. So it's one of those things where if you're a coach like Dawn Staley or even Vic Schaefer or Gino or Emma, you don't really care that much about where you're playing. You manage the travel, you've done it before. However, it is a nice advantage to be able to maybe sleep in your own bed one night longer and be comfortable. And that's what Texas earned. They earned it by winning that SEC tournament title.
Real quick, one thing about South Carolina, their fans travel. So
they don't play.
Let's not say
that. I mean, Sacramento.
they will go to Paris. They will stay. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anytime, any place.
Rebecca Lobo brought up a really good point, though. I mean, they're already going to be on the West Coast, playing in that time zone. Phoenix right there. So that could play to their advantage. And honestly, I don't want to play in Fort Worth 3.
Okay.
I mean, you got Kentucky, Louisville, Michigan, whoever comes at it, NC State, Tennessee, I'm going to tread lightly.
What you mean?
I know there's only one team. I'm going to tread lightly and keep moving.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that can happen in this region. And I'm looking at Michigan specifically because, look, I know they lost to Iowa twice down the stretch of the season in an unfashioned way, like uncharacteristic. But I'm going to go back to the Michigan team we saw in the beginning of the season, who competed with the nation's elite. Top 5 foes, only dropping to them by 3 points. When you talk about UConn, UCLA, both sitting on the 1 line, and Vanderbilt, who's sitting on the 2 line. They have to bottle back what they had and get back to their brand of basketball and that second chance opportunities and forcing points off turnovers. If you look at that UConn game, they forced UConn into 22 points off turnovers. If you bottle that up and ride on the electric play of Olivia Olson, I love her body control. She's pro-ready. She can get to her spots with ease, rise and fire. Her size allows her to guard multiple positions. So it can't just be her, because the size is going to play a factor in this region because, I mean, Michigan matchups matter.
Can I just say, I mean, they're the only opponent that UConn faced that kept the game to single digits at the end. So, I mean, that's saying something. I definitely thought they stood out as well, but...
And I'm going to say, outplayed UConn in the 4th quarter. Who does that?
No one, except for them. But Charlie, I mean, who else? Who else stands out to you here?
I'm on kind of the Louisville bandwagon a little bit. I'm really excited about that potential matchup between Louisville and Michigan. Such great balance in scoring. They have 7 players that average between 8.5 and 11.5 points a game. They play great defense. Jeff Walls has tremendous success in the NCAA tournament as a coach. They went to 5 straight Elite Eights not all that long ago. So they're kind of ready-made for this. You don't know really who to focus on defensively because on any given night, they can have a new go-to player. But I have my eye on Amari Berry in particular because she played so well in the ACC tournament that she will be the one to sort of step up if Louisville's in a position where they need someone to step up. And I think she can. And I'm really torn on that matchup. If we get it between Louisville and Michigan, that who advances to play in that Elite Eight.
Louisville's depth is going to be to their benefit. However, it's like who's going to shine on a big stage, who is your go-to. So that's my only concern with Louisville, a little too balanced, if that does exist. But I'm looking at the matchup that we need not talk about, NC State, Tennessee, because these are two storied programs that have been great in the postseason, especially NC State as of late. Tennessee has really gotten their groove back under Kim Caldwell, but there have been some cultural issues that we've seen, frankly, on both sides of the opposition. So NC State, they added Camille Pierre, they lost Sanaya Rivers, they lost Isaiah James, they lost Maddie Hayes. So in a rebuilding year, but they've added a Camille Pierre who came from Vanderbilt. Coming into the season, the expectations were a little higher than the way they finished, which is interesting because they finished fourth in the ACC in a super competitive league. But there have been some uncharacteristic losses on their end, but then you have Tennessee on the other end, which is, we saw Kim Caldwell go to the press and talk about the culture, and I do think we were being dramatic about Tennessee all season, about, oh my God, they're so terrible. They're in one of the most competitive conferences, and we just look at body language. And when you look at body language going into games, you're like, oh, I know that this team is solid versus I know that this team, I can get under their skin. And I think that's a big factor when it comes to high pressure situations. How can Tennessee handle the pressure when regular season, that was a concern for us too?
It's just so crazy how the narrative can shift from season to season. Last season, Tennessee beat UConn, and that was sort of the aha moment for that program. Things change. That's okay. They're going to try to redeem themselves now moving into the tournament. Let's keep going here to the final region that we have left to talk about, and that is Region 4, Sacramento. And this is the region where South Carolina is the #1 seed. Another juicy matchup, I think, in the 8-9 with Clemson and USC. And then you go over to Oklahoma. You got Michigan State there as well. And then in the bottom half of that region, Fort Worth, Texas, this is where TCU is hosting. They get UC San Diego. Washington will be playing as well. And then in Iowa City, Iowa, against Fairleigh Dickinson. That's another mid-major that does some
FDU
damage.
always pops
Shout
up.
out to FDU. And then you have Georgia as well. We have a special guest here on Bracketology Women's Selection presented by Allstate. It's TCU coach Mark Campbell. Mark, it's great to see you. Congrats on back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. You won the Big 12 regular season, but after falling short in the final, what's the feeling going into this run?
Oh, we are so excited about the opportunity, one, to play in March Madness, and two, to be one of the 16 teams that gets to host. That's a goal that we set out in June, and this group has been trying to put together a resume that would be worthy of that. And so we're really excited that the committee selected us to be one of the host schools.
Coach, long gone are the days that you're rebuilding. You're in your dominant era, so you got busy this summer, added some puzzle pieces. How are you able to so seamlessly integrate all the new pieces and the star power that you have?
That's the $1 million question in college athletics nowadays is being able to find the right pieces out of the portal. And I think there's two parts to that puzzle. One of those, and the most important piece, is I think the chemistry part, the culture piece, personalities, egos, trying to get all that aligned and get a locker room that's gonna enjoy this process and journey together. And then the second piece is the basketball piece, and that's a lot easier to do. And we try to pick and roll you. We want to spread you out. We value shooting. That's a premium within our program. And so our staff's worked really hard to identify players that fit both of those. And I think over the last 2 years, we've done that as well as anybody in the country with the portal kids.
Yeah, Coach, you definitely got the secret sauce with that. And two of those pieces, Marta Suarez and Olivia Miles, this electric backcourt. But we talk about them a lot. What's something we don't talk about enough behind the scenes that you can take us in when it comes to this backcourt duo?
Man, I'll tell you what, since this summer, and Charlie can attest to this, thought that there would be a chance Olivia and Marta would end up being one of the best duos in college basketball. From studying Marta's game film and just studying her gifts and her talent, that thought she would have a chance to be a pro and have a huge impact, and just wasn't quite utilized in the right way. And so those two complement each other. Marta is just the fiery warrior competitor, and Liv is kind of just that calm and presence, smooth. The game looks effortless with the way she plays. But those two together, one thing I'm really proud of is they've only been hooping together for 7 months, but you wouldn't know that from watching them. And so all credit to them for setting aside any egos or personal goals and figuring out how to play off of each other. One of the coaches in our league, I think they said, Marta and Olivia are like Batman and Robin, but on any given night, you don't know which one's which. And I think that's a testament to those two kids.
Well, I'm not going to ask you to be the Joker, Coach. But I am going to give you the floor, because we've talked a lot about Marta and Olivia, and rightfully so. But I want you to give me a player on your team who else is going to be vitally important for this tournament run.
Yeah, great question, Charlie. The backbone of our program, Donovan Hunter, over the last 2 years, is the only one the only returning starter. And Donovan is the one that makes this whole operation go with her humble spirit, but she's our elite lockdown defender. In March, you know, it's kind of a guard's game, and so you got to have someone on your team that can neutralize another team's dynamic playmaking guard. And Donovan Hunter is that player for us. That any given night she's going to guard 1 through 3, whoever she has to, and give us 40 minutes. And to have that piece, that's an important part of a puzzle. And then obviously Clara Silva has grown throughout the season, but just met with her. She's not a sophomore anymore. You know, we're 29-5, so we're 34 games into the season. And March is when we really need her to blossom and grow and put all these lessons together. And so those two, we need each of them to really step up here in March.
Coach, we can't wait to see what your team does in the dance. Thank you again so much for joining us, and good luck.
Hey, great to see you guys. Enjoy the tournament, and hopefully I get to see you again in April.
Hopefully.
There we go, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Campbell.
He loves you. He loves you so much.
He definitely does. He is the best. I mean, how excited are you for this TCU team?
He's one of those coaches that's embraced the new world of college basketball, reshaping his team. He mentioned 3 key players in that interview that were transfers that had to come in, and he had to reshape the team. He did it last year. Haley Van Lith and Sedona Prince were his dynamic duo last year, got him to an Elite 8. They moved on. He brought in Miles and Suarez, and he's doing it again because he's embraced what college basketball is now. You've got to hit the portal. You've got to reshape rosters quickly and get the chemistry. And he talked about the chemistry that Miles and Suarez have developed so quickly. You've got to figure out a way to do that as a coach, and he has the formula.
It's Mark Campbell also just joined TCU's program 2023, hosted tryouts 2024, and now sitting as a host seed. So the story overall, how he's revived this program, not even revived, put this team on the map. It has been incredible to see how TCU has been able to explode on the scene at the helm of Mark Campbell.
I mean, it's even more of a testament saying, yes, they did have the tryouts, but to get people to buy in at the portal, like you were saying, why would I buy into a culture that is just now starting out? So he had a vision for this team, and he's been able to really well execute it, finding the pairings that go. I know whenever we talk about successful teams, we talk about that guard post combo, but what about just I forgot who said it, but the champions go through the guards when it comes to March, and they have.
Oh, I heard that too.
They have some great guard play.
And not even buy into the team, but buy into each individual player having a vision and a plan. I spoke to Olivia Miles at the beginning of the season, and I said, why TCU? Mark Campbell mapped out an entire plan for Olivia Miles to exceed at the next level for the WNBA, working in that pick and roll style offense that she's going to see very often at the next level.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I feel like we keep kind of forgetting how much the Miles transfer changed up this entire landscape. Like, could you imagine if she was still with Notre Dame, how different this whole conversation would be, this entire bracket. But other thoughts on Sacramento 4? Let's keep it going here. And we got to talk about South Carolina a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
And if I'm South Carolina, this was my reaction when I saw this. I'm like, you know, the travel is annoying. Like you said, they've done it before. But the matchups, I don't know. They don't frighten me as much as some of these other regions.
I love their path.
Okay.
I really do. Even though they may have to face Oklahoma in the Sweet 16, the only team in the regular season in the SEC that beat them, I just love the matchups all the way to, because that's what this tournament's about. It's about matchups. And I think the matchups really line up well for South Carolina to get to Phoenix.
Well, let's talk about those matchups.
Yes.
Because South Carolina already faced USC earlier this season. I'm curious to know, will Jazzy Davison be 100% fully healthy? Oklahoma, I know this is a get-back game for South Carolina. Aaliyah Chavez went off for 15 points in the final frame in that overtime to knock off South Carolina. Iowa was a 2024 national championship rematch, and UConn, I mean, last year's Final Four.
Indeed, yes.
So Raegan Johnson told me during the preseason she wants this for Tania Latson. And if you look at anyone who can bring you to glory, it is Raegan Johnson. All she knows how to do is win at every single level. It's been really cool to see how she has evolved, not just as a point guard, but a scoring point guard, a two-way nightmare. She's increased her efficiency. Raegan Johnson's name is synonymous with winning.
Absolutely, and I love that you mentioned Raegan because we don't talk about her enough. She's more quiet than what we're used to when it comes to the overall potential pros, and she will be in the WNBA.
For sure.
But when we're talking about college, you're talking about one of the winningest classes to ever grace South Carolina. They did it undefeated. They did it in a rebuilding year. They did it when the lights weren't on them. I would argue the lights aren't on them this year. And just the overlooking of, I always look at South Carolina and I think that they attack people like ether. You never know how much they're wearing you down until the second half of the game. They're able to close it out. Now, when I look at the Oklahoma overtime situation, Aaliyah Chavez came out of
That was her day. That was her day. What did you do? You just wash your hands with that one.
But again, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face, you need losses like that to know how to adjust, to be prepared for moments and matchups like that you're going to be dealt when it comes high stakes, high pressure moments.
So that SEC championship game, I truly think is fueling South Carolina.
Yep.
Dawn Staley said it herself. Last time we lost,
Yes.
we won a championship. She's referring to that 2023 Final Four. The next year, they went undefeated, leading to a national championship. So I'm excited to see what South Carolina will do. I think we aren't respecting them at all as a one seed. Like, they're like, hello, I'm here.
We are.
Let me know, Donnie. We got you back.
Like, put respect on South Carolina's name. They
For
have
sure.
3 championships to their name. They've been a recent dynasty and continuous dynasty that we've seen under Dawn
Undisputed.
Staley's legacy, how she's been able to really put this program as a powerhouse. And you have to put them as a Final Four team and possibly a championship contending team.
All right, I would just add, I have one more team I'm looking at with an interesting set of eyes here, which is Iowa, because on one hand, they got smacked by UCLA, but we know what else they're capable of doing. So I think that's really interesting too. And by the way, we did a great interview with Oklahoma's Raegan Beers as well. So go to ESPN's YouTube channel to check that out. She was phenomenal. And let's get closing thoughts before we say goodbye on Bracketology Women's Selection presented by Allstate. Charlie, final thoughts.
We love this time of year.
Yes.
We love this tournament. I think this is going to be a fabulous tournament. I know some people get a little worked up about the fact that it's all the same teams. It might be the same Final Four. We predicted it to be the same Final Four. But you know what? Big brands, big name star players make for great drama. And Ari likes drama.
I love giving Charlie drama
in the world. And I think we have the potential to really have great drama with great stars, big name players in whether it's the Elite Eight or the Final Four.
Yeah, and even though we are expecting chalk in the Final Four, Ari, I mean, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. I mean, I can see like I said, UCLA has a very tough road. I do have faith in what Cori has put together, but them and Duke, I don't know. I want to see how many 5-second violations Texas can force. They are 28 5-second violations. That's 13 more than any other team in the NCAA. So what's their defense looking like? South Carolina, ether. UConn, unblemished.
I want to see, will a 2 seed prove us wrong? We're talking about these 1 seeds constantly. Vanderbilt, LSU, Michigan, Iowa, I'm looking at you. And other 1 seeds proving us wrong as well. I mentioned South Carolina and Texas. You can't count them out in a national championship game. And last but not least, like, stars are made of March. We talk about the stars, but unsung heroes. You think about UCLA's Angela Dugalich coming off the bench. Those other players who come off and do more for the team outside the stars, the balance and depth, takes your team another notch in March.
So shining in March and singing in April.
Okay?
Period.
Period.
That sums it up.
Guys, this is the best time of year, and this has been so fun. Thank you so much for watching Bracketology Women's Selection presented by Allstate. For Charlie Creme, for Autumn Johnson, for Ari Chambers. My name is Maria Marino. We really appreciate you hanging with us. Don't forget to fill out your brackets on ESPN.com and enjoy the dance.
We dancing right now. Period.